talk to me about Sonko and Sonko's move to get into Kenya Kwanza and the impact that has on the gubernatorial seat in Mombasa.
So, of course, we've talked about the Sonkonization of Nairobi politics for a long time and how Mike Sonko managed, through Sonko Rescue Team, to go to the grassroots. He managed to have such a strong network with the informal settlements in Nairobi to the point that he got more votes than any presidential candidate in the city. And so when he moved to Mombasa, one of the things that everyone knew was he used the same strategy. Came up with the Sonko Rescue Team, again started going into the informal settlements in Mombasa. And he captured the imagination of the people of Mombasa. He played into the dynamics that are in Mombasa. He became, all of a sudden, the alternative choice that they had as the people of Mombasa, and they were willing to vote for him, were it not for the court case that barred him from running for election. Him switching, now before that we saw him with the president, just before the court case, the decision. We saw him with the president, and the talk was he's perhaps coming in to support Igathe in Nairobi, who was seemingly struggling to connect with the local people in Nairobi, and as well campaign for himself in Mombasa. And guys are like, Sonko can actually do this. After the court case, Mike Sonko then, of course, yesterday or the day before that, we saw him cross over to Kenya Kwanza. What he brings to the table there is Hassan Omar now, if they work together, we know that they have not seen eye to eye. We've heard the things that Hassan Omar has said about Sonko, but they are no permanent enemies in politics. I think he brings quite a huge number of votes to Hassan Omar. Complicates the matter for Abdul Samad and ODM in Mombasa.
So you're saying this is actually going to sort of create a significant impact in
it is going to
in that election.
At the governor's race, it is going to create an impact at the governor's race, just because there are people who legitimately believe that Mike Sonko is a representation of the leader that they want in Mombasa. There are people who legitimately believe he's the solution. And there are people who he's crossing over, he crosses over with them. They are Mike Sonko loyalists who will go with him wherever he goes. So he does that. But also the other thing, he creates excitement about Kenya Kwanza in Mombasa. For once, there is reason, because Hassan Omar is not as a charismatic and populist candidate as Mike Sonko is. Mike Sonko is a lot more of a populist. He creates a lot more excitement around himself. And I'm looking forward to the rally that Kenya Kwanza has in Mombasa. I think sometime this week. That will be an exciting rally because Sonko is going to speak at that rally. And you will see the net effect that it has. That whole emotional thing that we were talking about and the ability to connect to people emotionally, Mike Sonko knows how to do that. He knows how to spew venom out of his mouth. He knows how to excite a crowd. And that's exactly what is being brought out for. On the last stretch, you need some of those people on your side. And they have brought Mike Sonko onto their side.
Ruth,
and he's also going to come to Nairobi, just for you. On the last rally that Kenya Kwanza have at Nyayo Stadium, Mike Sonko will be in Nairobi, will be campaigning in Nairobi. And Mike Sonko campaigning in Nairobi, anyone needs to be wary about that he has the ability. Good thing for Azimio that it's last minute. If he had a lot more time, he would have done a lot more time.
It would have been devastating for Azimio if Mike Sonko.
Very quick one.
Don't underestimate Raila's higher when he goes to, when he goes to after Sonko has spoken in Mombasa, when Raila just goes and says higher, Because also remember that Raila Odinga has had quite a, a significant grip of Mombasa. So this could end up being not necessarily a Mike Sonko versus Abdul Samad campaign, but mostly a Mike Sonko versus Raila Odinga campaign, where Raila just goes back and says, look, you people have been my people, this is it, we have always wanted to go to State House, and this is the time. Without your vote, we can't make it to State House. And you see, at the end of the day, when they go there, they go with the six-piece narrative. Like, when you piga suti, And no offense to the voters in Mombasa, but certain regions of the country are less advanced in terms of their thinking politically as opposed to other regions in the country. Like, a Nairobi voter would sit down and probably say that, look, for governor, I am voting for this different political party. For my MCA, I'm giving an independent candidate. For a Nairobi voter is likely to think like that. A Mombasa voter
likely and doing two different things. The Nairobi voters, the voters voted for Sonko. Yeah. So please,
I think that would be unfair.
Yeah, that's
people of Mombasa have a track record of making better decisions.
The kind of what I'm trying to say is, look, the kind of Nairobi voter is the voter who in 2017 voted for a Jubilee governor, a Jubilee senator, a Jubilee senator, a Jubilee governor, and an ODM woman representative, you know. So they can diversely think. They can say that, look, I don't necessarily have to vote 6-piece. But Mombasa looks more of like a 6-piece region. You know, it sounds to me more like a 6-piece region where if Raila just goes back and says, look, you people, this is the time we are voters wanted. Please, just hear me out.
Before Ruth gets into so much hot water with the Mombasa people.
Smart is not convinced. Certainly not convinced with that argument.
I mean, to be fair to her, in Kilifi, they voted all seats ODM.
ODM, yes. That's exactly what I'm trying to talk about.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that for a Mombasa voter, if Raila goes back and says, look, and this is an argument that makes quite some sense, that it could end up, like you see how we had said, for William Ruto, this is a campaign of him versus the president. So Mombasa could end up being Sonko versus Raila. And in terms of influence, Raila has more influence than Sonko.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ruth Ambogo, Team India, you've all done very well. Thank you very much for coming.